It is Penn Live prediction time.
Yes, it is.
As Penn State and Temple inch closer to kicking off the 2015 season. Greg Pickel, Penn State traditionally has had its way with the Owls. The series is 39-3-1. Last year's game at Beaver Stadium, 30-13. A Penn State win. The game was a little bit closer, I thought, than maybe that score. It was kind of hung in the balance there in the third quarter. Yep. This year it's in Philly, Lincoln Financial Field. Temple's a pretty deep team. They have a lot of good players back. The question I have, though, is all that experience going to be enough to beat Penn State this year?
I don't think so, and I was wrong in almost every one of these predictions last year, so we'll start with that right off the top. But I don't think so. I really don't. I think that, you know, this is a Penn State team that's going to be better than the one a year ago. That's no knock on Temple. I think they're going to be improved as well. But, yeah, I just don't think they have the firepower to knock off Penn State in the opener.
Yeah, Penn State's rated about a touchdown favorite. Yep. For you people that are kind of like to follow along with the spreads, I believe the total on the game is somewhere around 38 or 39 to me. It's definitely going to be a game where I think points, if any touchdowns are scored, it's probably going to be the product of a short field or a turnover. Yeah. I do think Penn State's got more talent on offense. They obviously have the better quarterback. It could be tight for a little while, but I'm going to say 19-6 Penn State. They're about, you know, 2 touchdowns better. It won't be pretty at times. I really like the defense. I think they're going to be able to shut down and control Temple's offense. I got it 19-6. Could be a game of field goals, but there will be at least 1 touchdown on the board for Penn State.
Yeah, I think that I have a little bit more scoring in the game than you do. And I think that it's an interesting game because if Penn State's offense plays like it did, you know, midway through the season, this one's going to be ugly and close. Yeah. And I think if they play today against Boston College, you know, I think Penn State's defense is good enough to not make it a shootout like that game was. So I'm going to go with 21-13. For a final Penn State victory. I think it's, like you said, it's probably going to be ugly at times, but I think that when all is said and done, it'll be a fairly comfortable margin for Penn State. I don't see it really being in doubt by the time the horn goes.
The one caveat, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, is Christian Hackenberg traditionally starts the season very well. First game ever 2 years ago against Syracuse on the road. Had a good game, threw for a bunch of yards. And he was lights out against a pretty good Central Florida defense last year in Ireland. I'll be curious to see how he does, especially with Chris Godwin in the lineup. But I still, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a defensive game, 19-6, and your score is?
21-13.
All right, we're going to be keeping track all season. We'll see how we do.